Welcome to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the wrestling podcast where one big old nerd fan and one pretty cool casual fan break down the first viewing of Lucha Underground. We are on Season 2, Episode 2. It is called The Dark and the Mysterious. I am one of those hosts, Sean Marciniak. How do you do?
Yeah, and he's the casual fan. I'm the big nerd because I know the shit.
Yeah, well then, James, you have no problem taking this one away.
Today we're discussing Episode 2, Season 2 of Lucha Underground, entitled The Dark and Mysterious. Last episode, things are darker in the temple, but today, the dark, okay, I get that. What could this mysterious be?
That's...
Sean?
I'm very excited to talk about it because that reveal was so fucking cool.
I'm excited to talk about it tangentially because my mother hates his son.
Dominic?
Yeah.
There's like, okay, so we spoiled this mysterious, but that's okay. Hopefully you watch this episode because it's very good and you can go to Internet Archive and find it for yourself. Because Elroy, those cowards, I don't know. I have no idea what happened to their TV shows. I hope everyone's okay and is getting paid.
Yeah, I will text my mom real quick and say, why don't you like Dominic Mysterio?
Maybe she just confuses him with Dominic the Donkey, the old Christmas song.
No, my mom, she has, actually, I can just search our messages and probably it'll pick up.
Okay, but I do want to find out how your mother feels about Dominic the Donkey, the Christmas donkey.
I will not bring up that at all.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I know she fucking hates it, and I don't want to get into the reasons why she hates that donkey.
All right, well then let's get into the temple gym where we start this episode. And Puma lifting weights and remembering his loss to Mil Muertes and Ultima Lucha. Prince Puma, of course, the inaugural Lucha Underground champion, losing it at Ultima Lucha to Mil Muertes, who has begun this reign of death across the temple. Penta comes into the gym and interrupts him because he wants to thank him. He wants to thank Puma for helping Penta one last time please his master. But tonight we're partners. His master, of course, as we found out at the end of Ultima Lucha, was Vampiro. And what pleases his master? A whole bunch of destruction and human carnage. It's real sexy. But tonight they are partners, and they will continue breaking bones for Penta's master. After we finish the Disciples of Death, however, the next will be you, Puma. That's right. Penta is coming for Prince Puma and Mil and the Disciples of Death and your mother who does not appreciate Christmas donkeys. Pentagon's coming for everyone. There are no alliances. There are no friendships in Penta's life, only momentary alliances.
Penta's in his power era, i.e. power from Chainsaw Man.
Okay, yep, I've seen that show and I'm ready to make bits about it.
So power, the gist of Chainsaw Man, there's demons, there's police that kill the demons, and Chainsaw Man is imbued with a demon, and Power is sort of a demon as well, but she just loves to kill. So she's like, okay. Oh, wait, I can kill the demons. All right, I'm going to kill the demons if you want. And that's Penta. Penta is just chaotic neutral, I think, now, instead of like chaotic evil.
Yes. I always thought on the veil of like, because I think he also still wants the championship.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be champion as well, which is sort of a law in a way, a lawfulness in a way, you could say. Like a true chaotic character wouldn't care about a title at all.
But can chaotic be lawful? I don't think the alignment charts work that way.
No, but I do think that because everyone kind of wants a title, like that makes sense. This is why you took this weird contract in the first place.
So he's lawful neutral.
No, I think it was fair to call him chaotic neutral, just to throw on the layer that he does have a want. There is one thing sort of tying him in, and it is that he would like to be champion. He would like, I think we'd have to ask him, would he rather please his master or be champion if he had to choose?
Okay, but Daredevil is also chaotic neutral, and he wants chimichangas, so, you can still have wants and be a little chaos, man.
Daredevil that's
not
Deadpool, my dear
Deadpool.
Friend.
Damn it. Daredevil is also chaotic neutral because he's in it to get the win, i.e. in the courtroom, and he'll do anything possible.
Dun, 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 at the desk. We
Wait.
go to the desk and Matt Stryker. We
I
only have an
notes,
hour.
yes,
James.
but I have
Okay.
notes on that, and I needed to get into what my
Power
mom
and
said.
chainsaw. Oh, okay.
So I asked my mom, oh my God, it disappeared, the message. Hold on. I need to search it again.
We only have an hour. Gotta search through my mom's messages. Everybody's hooked on phonics onto this Dominic Mysterio, Dominic the Donkey.
Sean, I can
Yes.
edit this. You could just not say anything and it would be edited out. Now I can't, you jagweed. And it's not my fault. It's Messenger's fault. I had it and then you took so long talking about Dominic the Donkey or whatever that it
What?
went to black, okay? I asked
my
my
gosh.
mother, are you still
Yes.
watching WWE? And if so, how do you feel about Roman Reigns being the champ for so long? She responded with, he may be the longtime champion, but Brock Lesnar is the highest paid wrestler and can play either Raw or SmackDown. I'd rather watch Roman Reigns than that baby idiot Dominic Mysterio.
Baby Idiot is my favorite post grunge band in the late 90s that were still doing some pretty fun pop punk stuff. I'm trying to say, James, you want to join my band? It's called Baby Idiot.
Okay.
Sweet. We'll write songs later. But first, let's get to the debt. Oh, and
Yes.
they do have a fight.
Oh, wait, I also, yes, I remember I had notes on this as well.
Okay, I thought you just had Dominic Mysterio notes.
No, so Dominic Mysterio is my last note, but since it was brought up, that's why I brought it up now. They're teaming up, guys, and then there's this fight. The choreography is amazing, and Puma is, in fact, like Drago last season, he is a real Puma man.
Wait, was there like Puma sound effects?
Yes, he's growling when him and Penta are fighting.
Conan is no longer in the temple, and Puma is off the leash, baby.
He's going.
And he does.
Henry was freaking out. He's like, "Where's that noise coming from, sir?"
Aww. He was coming from that sweet backflip kicking man, Prince Puma, who will tag with Pentagón Jr. later tonight. We cut to the desk where Stryker reminds us all, Pentagón Jr. broke Mill's arm last week. Vampiro, was that you? Were you involved in that decision? Vamp's like, what are you talking about? Just because someone takes a dark path doesn't mean there's not light at the end of the tunnel? I'm tired of talking of this. Yeah, it's a lot of like, let me tell you everything. Stop asking me all this.
Yeah, he says, "What are you asking me that for, huh? I take medicine now. I no longer have disciples, brother."
I've been cured of my desire to lead a cult. Let's just get to the first match. Johnny Mundo versus Killshot. And Killshot, fucking so cool. Again, Swerve Strickland. Ooh, the young athleticism and the hunger versus the wily veteranness and the general smart assholery that is Johnny Mundo. I enjoyed this match.
So much so. Killshot, I love how the crowd is cheering for him immediately. They're like, Killshot, Killshot. And this fucker in between seasons was clearly EXP farming. He just went to one area that he's like, I can level up real good right here, and just grinded and grinded, because from season one, the end of season one to the beginning of season two, it's just, he was fantastic then, but it is day and night. He's taken those chances. Maybe it's because he's going up against someone like Johnny, and Johnny just brings out the best in people.
I would wonder that if I didn't know what he was doing now in AEW. I think where he has continued to like EXP farm. You know, after this, he goes to after Lucha Underground, he goes to the WWE, where he becomes Isaiah Swerve Scott, and he does well for himself there. But like, especially this last year in AEW, he like visually, he's put on a lot of good weight. Like not like he's still very mobile. He still does all the stuff he can do back then, but he's just bigger, so he looks a little better for TV. He's straight called his shot of being the first Black AEW World Champion.
He called his kill shot.
He called his kill shot, and like is making the moves like on the microphone, in the ring,
Like Mick Jagger.
visually, like Mick Jagger. Like it's. I think there is a through line of his career of just EXP farming. I think that's what he does.
He's the Geoff Darrow of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Sean, get cultured, you
What the fuck
swine.
is Geoff Darrow, Don't insult me and then not tell me who Geoff Darrow is.
Comic book artist, very good Shaolin cowboy, Rusty and Big Boy.
Okay, and he has like a history of self-improvement?
Yeah, I watched a short doc. Nicole was friendly with him. He's very big. He did most of the concept art for The Matrix. And
hell yeah.
he just would come to Chicago Comics and hang out. He did some signings. Nicole talked to him, and she has said the most humble of any comic book artist she has ever met. And in this documentary, he started working at Hanna-Barbera doing all the like spaceship stuff. And then an artist was like, yeah, I really like your stuff. Then the next thing they saw him do just like a few years later, night and day. He was good back then, but now he's a fucking champ. And then another 3 years later, it's like he's the greatest at this medium. He just keeps accelerating and no one knows how or why.
Those are my favorite ones. It's always the people, I remember, being a series of down and out, lovable loser stand-up comedians in Buffalo. But like you would see it, and I think it's an 80 medium where you do see people who come in with a lot of talent and are like get those opportunities early versus the people who like really just don't stop. They keep, and there is this fine line in this country especially where we prioritize working yourself to the bone for little to no feedback or payback, and eventually you just burn yourself out. Like, burnout culture aside, it is always more valuable to be the person who's constantly improving, never stopping, as opposed to the person who just comes in with it all.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know. Make this man our first AEW Black World Heavyweight Champion. He's so fucking good.
He's great.
He's so good, and he's even great here in 2016.
But what he's missing is Vampiro's true approval because, unlike Johnny Zero, yeah, guys.
Oh, what? How dare you?
Killshot is not arrogant, cocky, and he clearly cares. Johnny's arrogant, Johnny's cocky, and Johnny doesn't care. So, Sean, let's say we'll put this out into the ether. Vampiro, are you listening?
He's probably not. He's recovering from onset Alzheimer's.
What? Never mind. Not gonna do the bit. You piece of shit. You want to know? No, still, hey, Vampiro, we're better at this talking. Yeah, that was on purpose. Yeah, I was going to say we were going to really like dive in to earn his respect. I was going to say we're better than you. I've never wrestled a goddamn day in my life, but I bet I could jump off the top ropes better than Killshot could. And I don't care about the harms that my body could do because I'm on a little thing called Medicare.
You're gonna say a little thing called thin gravy.
No.
Why did you think that would earn us his respect?
Because we're going to be arrogant, cocky, and we don't care. That's what Johnny Zero did, and that's why he now respects him.
Yeah. It is...
He said it in the TV show.
I will say this. I don't think Killshot, because Vampiro does go into it. It's weird. It's not that Killshot is arrogant like Johnny is. He's arrogant with youth. You know what I mean? He's arrogant with inexperience. So he does do the things like take too long in between moves and kind of poses down. And it's like, no, you just gotta, you gotta stop being so young. Just like James is when he called out the entire Lucha Underground cast for not being as good as he is at things he's never tried to do.
Yeah, I don't need to. I'm just naturally gifted, bitch.
Fucking get it. I also want to call out real quick, at least one spot where the crowd, and you talk about like the crowd really getting hot for a kill shot. They were so loud. It's when Johnny is kind of on the second rope and Killshot shotgun drop kicks the shins out from under him, leaves him hanging like a gargoyle on the second rope. It's fucking brutal. I think, what is it? Super kick, jumping DDT, 450 splash for a goddamn 2 fall.
Yeah, man, that was so cool. I even had most of what you just said correct written down. I thought he did a 720 frog splash.
Ooh, I think I always forget it. Honestly, because I always confuse 450 and 630 all the time in the first season. You may have noticed that. It wasn't a mistake. It was an Easter egg now.
Sean, no one noticed it. No one's fucking listening. But guess what? It doesn't matter. We still have the best numbers than any podcast out there. I'm now talking like Trump. I get why he does it.
If you're ever wondering, 450, you'll land on your stomach. 630, you'll land on your back.
Oh, no.
I'm helping. I'm the, okay, so if Trump is Trump, who's the guy that's just like, I'm never going to win, but here's a fun fact.
What's his nuts? Oh, why can't Bernie?
Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I'm the Bernie Sanders. I'm never going to win, but like, here's something fun about seagulls you might not have known before.
And talking about all these numbers, what a way to start my day at 6:30 a.m. than watching this. Wowzers, I was rip-roaring excited.
Let's fucking go. It was very cool. The finish was also very exciting. It's ref gets bumped. Johnny vaults a running kill shot over his head, who would have landed on his feet if Johnny didn't raise his back leg to simultaneously kick him in the nards as Killshot landed.
Ooh!
Springboard Enziguri follows up Fin de Mundo for the 3 at 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Johnny wins, baby.
And Johnny picks up the mic and he does what he does best. He does what he does best, which is belittle a man's trauma because, I guess belittle a demon's trauma because he picks up the mic and he says,
this was fucked up.
Hey, Mill, you know that fatal earthquake that one made you a demon but also killed all your family? That ain't nothing, brother. I'm here. I'm stronger than that quake, you piece of shit.
I also have Johnny's apathy to trauma in my notes as well. Thankfully, there's a man coming out here who's not exactly a man. James, what is this guy?
Yeah, you're a machine. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The fucking machine is here, baby. Brian Cage. Yeah.
I think he's also EXP grinded because I feel like he is a lot more confident on the mic this season. He just sounds a lot better and he sounds like a man and not a machine.
Yes, he sounds, and in the best way, right?
Yes.
Did you enjoy this? Okay, I want to make sure before I start shoving these words into your mouth. But yeah, he sounds natural. He sounds like he's actually speaking. It doesn't sound stilted or scripted or like I must be. No, he sounds like he sounds like a real fucking bad dude who has some fucking bad intentions. He feels good to be back at the temple, and unlike our champion with his stupid dead fucking family, I'm 100%. Nobody broke my arm last week. It calls out Mill directly, which I never thought about, especially this Cage, this very bad but fucking human Cage versus Mill.
Oh, man.
I think you called this out last season, be like, yo, this would be a match. And I was like, I don't know. And no, you were correct. This would be a fucking match.
Okay, we've compared this to Tekken storytelling so much just in like the wildness, but this is Tekken 2. A new champion has risen, and now everyone's like, well, we have to take out that champion, right? They're much worse than the last one when it comes to morals and everything. This is just so fucking good. On Cage Match, I brought it up because I was like, is that Rey Mysterio? There are people saying, not as good as the first one. What the fuck are you idiots talking about?
I mean, they're probably bummed that all the matches were so short, but I agree. What the fuck are you idiots talking about? It's the hard thing when judging Lucha Underground as well, is that this is a show that's like, it's not strictly for, it works for your like, you know, long-term wrestling heads, but it's so good for picking up casuals who just want a good TV show with some baller-ass fucking action sequences.
And then Cage and Mundo fight a little bit, and Cage hits Mundo so hard that he spins in the air at least a full 360, lands on the ground. And Vampiro said one of two things. There's one word that I couldn't get. He either said, It's like when a transport truck hits a minnow or a pinto. One of those is apt, the other is just wild. If he said pinto, that's another car that makes sense. But a transport truck hitting a minnow, i.e. a tiny fish that when you're in children swimming, that's the lowest level of swim capability you can have. I hope he said minnow.
And just a reminder for all you drivers out there driving at the roads tonight, make sure you watch out for minnows. They don't belong on the road and they don't know what they're doing. Please don't strike the minnow.
And at this point, I wrote down, I wish we recorded this, not released daily, but I wish we recorded daily just so I'd be able to see every episode.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. As it stands now, you're going to cancel this podcast tomorrow, assuming we don't get the viewers tonight. Yes?
Oh, we don't need the viewers, baby. We're already the best. Actually, you want to know? Yeah, we're already the best. I'm canceling it.
Make podcasts great again, baby.
Excuse me. I'm bleeping all of that. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to insert you saying
you did bring him up.
Yes, but I was being like, oh, I'm sounding stupid, but I don't. It's just gross when people do that. I will censor that slightly, and I'll find a part where you say America, and I'm just going to plug that in.
That is so much more work.
I'll make Steve Barnes look up when you've said America.
God, he loves me. Cage poses at Mill. Cage wins this segment. Cage is posing down. Johnny's tactically retreating. Shit's crazy. We cut to an office with washed out yellow and green lighting. And we see a woozy, sexy star tied to a chair. And we hear a creep laughing. Who could this creep be? Well, we've got one creep in our hearts on this show. And that's Marty the goddamn Moth Martinez. He is in a polo shirt with a sweater around the neck, classic prep style.
Wowzers.
Like, I was not prepared for this look, but okay. He has brought her something. It is a dead moth. He says, don't be afraid, sexy star. All of this is for your own good as a caterpillar morphs into a butterfly. Marty's sister says that it's almost time to return to the temple, and we will be coming with you. E-ah-oo. I didn't get exactly why he made those last sounds. And I'm also very curious, we haven't heard anything about his sister.
In the last episode of season 1, he brought up his sister, but we don't know who it is. My only fear, it would be wild and crazy, that he is his own sister just in drag.
Ooh, we do a sort of Psycho, end of Psycho.
Uh-huh.
But instead of the spoilers for Psycho, sorry guys.
Oh, whoa, I haven't ever seen that parodied a billion times.
I guess I hope it's not, but I could also see them making that work.
Yeah.
Doing the Psycho end on it is very interesting.
What if it's Melina the Moth?
Melina the Moth. Oh yeah, she debuted at the end of last year.
Yeah, it could be
Melina's
Melina
in the
the Moth.
temple somewhere. We gotta find Melina. She's somewhere in this temple. We cut to a video package, aka Memories, where the wolf fears nothing, and 3 cool motorcycle boys park at the Pink Motel. The narrator lets us know that he is addicted to danger and loves fighting with those other 2 motorcycle boys in the Pink Motel parking lot. It turns out they take off their helmets. They're luchadors. Man, this guy's looking for this next thrill, and he's gonna get it at Lucha Underground. The Darewolf PJ Black fears nothing and will debut tonight. PJ Black, formerly Justin Gabriel, was with WWE since 2008, competing in the first season of NXT. Oh, I wrote Justin Gabriel in my notes twice. It's Justin Gabriel, PJ Black, the Darewolf, the wolf who dares.
He's not doing this for money. He's not doing it for fame, and he's not doing it for recognition, because here at Lucha Underground, you ain't gonna get any of it.
None of those are included in these terrible, terrible criminal contracts.
Unfortunately. And we do, as you said, it's the Darewolf, PJ Black. He fears nothing. I really want to see if this melds well, or is diametrically opposed to Pentagon's Zero Fear.
I mean, and Pentagon is still in a place where nothing melds well with Pentagon. We'll get into that later tonight. I'm curious. Well, we'll find out a little bit about it as we see him in action fighting the Mac in his debut match. Vampiro does not know this guy. Like, what the fuck is what is a Darewolf? And I did have to stop. I didn't stop to think about it until Vampiro brought it up, which makes me think I'm not a smart person. I'm like, oh yeah, Darewolf is not a word.
It's just a pun on werewolf.
Oh yeah,
But he's daring.
Oh. It's my favorite Warren Zevon song, Ah Woo, Darewolves of London.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm getting into, we don't have time to get into it. I'm getting into my Warren Zevon phase of life. I'm really kind of about it. Guys, Warren Zevon's cool.
Sean's turning into a boomer rock guy.
Yeah. Sorry.
When you gonna start rocking Kiss?
Dude, that's the first concert I ever gone to. Have I told you that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking. So I've been a card-carrying member of that army for a minute. Detroit Rock City was one of my favorite movies to watch and to masturbate to. Shouts out to the woman in the parking lot.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I guess, no, don't just shout out people you've jacked off to. I thought you were going to say like Natasha Lyonne or the woman who was also in 2.5 Men.
That's a good rule for this podcast. I will carry forward. Don't just shout out people you jacked off to.
I technically shout out someone I jack off to a lot, but I'm not shouting out to her because I jack off to her a lot.
Yeah, no, I forget this woman's name. I think she's Gene Simmons' wife.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So it's terrible that I don't remember her name. All right, you know what? Shouts out to a different. I'm gotta stop shouting out people I jerk off to.
I thought you were gonna say, all right, never mind. Shouts out to Margie, and I'm like, you can't do that either after this to that.
I was gonna say Joanna Angel, but real quick,
the first concert you ever went to, people in face paint. First concert I ever went to, people in face paint. It was Twisted.
That's cool. Hell yeah, fucking face paint. Shouts out to face paint. Whether you're Pentagón Jr., Old School Vampiro, Twisted, or every member of Kiss except for Gene Simmons. No shouts out to Gene Simmons. You seem like a bad person.
No, he's a businessman, okay? He's good at business.
All right, Nick Kroll's sign-off for his production company. He says good at business at the end of the TV show. The Mac versus Darewolf PJ Black. Solid match. Like another short, 3 matches on the card tonight. 2 of them under 5 minutes, but good matches. Like a lot happening.
And even before this begins, fucking Stryker slams the Mac's appearance, saying, he might not look like much, but this dude knows how to use his body.
It's that. It's the same thing that I struggled with as a wrestling fan, really until Orange Cassidy in some ways, where just because they have some semblance of comedy, like you see, like it's not like when the Max sells in this match and in Lucha Underground, now that he's allowed to just kind of be himself, like he's not like, he doesn't have to be Big Rick's cousin. He can kind of form his own character. It's not that he's like underselling the moves. He's not like taking away from the moves, but he's just a very charismatic kind of person. So like the sort of the facial reactions he makes and everything when he gets hit is kind of funny. Like he's kind of just a funny guy. And there's this thing where like if you're kind of funny in wrestling, we'll use you. People will get excited about you and you'll make money, but you'll never be treated seriously.
Oh, I took him also as slamming his physical appearance. Like he's not the biggest muscular man in the world, but he knows how to use his body.
That's fair too. Okay, that's probably what they were going for. This is a great thesis / TED talk that I will do about some other time, because I do believe that they've done that, and really until recently they haven't allowed a character to be 3-dimensional who is also comedic. But that's not what this is about. I think you're right, James, that it's about they're just attacking his physical appearance. The fact that he's a larger person who moves so fucking smooth. It's PJ Black early. Black attacks Mac fast and plants him on his back. I wasn't sure I could say that. But Mac's fighting spirit, surprising agility, keeps him in it.
No, hold on. You also say what Vampiro responded with, saying pretty much, you're having too much fun with this, dude.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. After all the rhyming happens, he's like, just call him PJ or the Darewolf. Stop rhyming.
Yeah, Vampiro's no fun. But yeah, Mac stays in it. Like, and you forget, if you have not watched the Mac, because until recently he was not on, he's so fucking good. He's not on TV enough, and it's a goddamn shame because he's so good. Single leg drop kicks, float over arm drags, Samoan drops to moonsault, it keeps PJ Black guessing. He can power wrestle you, he can lucha wrestle you, he can just do anything. Black lands on his feet, out of a German suplex, gets behind, rolls through with a Blue Thunder driver, aka Black to the Future, only for a 2.
Well, real quick, you were saying like, hey, you don't see Mac a lot, or back then you didn't see Mac a lot. I think that's what you were saying. So
yeah, he's on ROH. He's on ROH now. ROH, it's not technically on TV. They have their own. They're owned by AEW, but technically they're on their own like streaming service. It's weird.
So back then you probably weren't seeing a lot of him, as you brought up, but also as Vampiro brings up, he's right. The last time we did see Mac, his head was being slammed through a cinder block.
That is true.
It's crazy how nothing is brought up besides Vampiro saying that his face didn't need reconstruction. He doesn't have a bandage on just to be like, hey, it's a little boo-boo. Just give us something. Yes, it's been maybe 3 months since the event, but...
6 months.
Okay, you want to know what? 6 months? You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a whole 6 months to recover. Yeah, no, it's weird. I mean, I guess you can kind of see it in where they are. Cage is allowed to like fight. Like that's the big sort of takeaway, is that Cage is allowed to fight for the title. Max sort of has to earn his wins back again. But we're happy to see him. No bandage or anything necessary. By the way, top rope blind salt. I don't think I've seen Justin Gabriel, aka PJ Black, before. He looks good. Top rope lion salt looked real cool.
Oh, yeah, I loved this. And Vampiro was bringing up, how come all these dudes from South Africa love doing like little leg whips and
handsprings? Yeah.
Strikers, like, that's just what they do. He should have said, regional wrestling, Vampiro. Things can be different.
It's not. Well, the weird thing is, I wonder how much of it is regional and how much of it is like a stylistic change of like the indies kind of coming out. And really, because I feel like a lot of it you can kind of tie to what Johnny Mundo is doing. I think we talked about in the last season, sort of like one of the things, I need to find this interview, that he was really passionate about in wrestling was bringing in non-wrestling influences. Bringing in his parkour influences and his kung fu move, and it was like his fighting kung fu movie, action movie influences, like making a wrestling match look more like that. And we kind of see that in these leg whips and roundhouse kicks and all the things that Angelico does and PJ Black is doing. So is Johnny Mundo South African? No, he's not. But it's interesting to see some of that influence kind of coming in to this TV series. I guess it's one of the reasons I think Johnny is just so perfect for this TV show. That is a wrestling show that does not look like a wrestling show. Mm-hmm. And having these influences, or like that fight, the choreographed fight between Penta and Puma we saw backstage.
Oh, yeah. All
these cool things about like why this show was so important. If you're a wrestling fan and you really aren't familiar with it, it's so... This show should have been bigger and is so important.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, I don't know if it's a more regionalisms Vampiro or if it's just the two dudes from South Africa, you know.
It might be that. I think they just book Nelson Mandela and he starts doing the same stuff.
They're like, oh, yeah, I guess it's regional.
I guess it's regional, yeah.
Chappie shows up and they're like, holy shit, it's regional.
At the end of the match, Black gets another 2 after the lion salt. He needs to put Mac away, goes to the corner splash. He gets to the top rope, but Mac catches PJ mid-air with a cutter, wins at 4 minutes 43 seconds. The Mac is back, baby.
Yeah. And one of the things I loved the most about this match is people started getting on PJ's side. Once he started hitting the mat a few times, they started yeah, let's do this, baby. And it's a very different vibe of other stuff I've seen, like in ECW early on. If all of a sudden a WWF person showed up, they're like, oh man, fuck you, you're from the Fed. These people just love great wrestling, and once you prove that you are a great wrestler, they're on your side.
Definitely. I absolutely agree with that. But I would also wonder if some of that is, he was in WWE for a long time, but he wasn't on TV a lot. So they may just not know him.
Okay, that could be true. No, these are wrestling nerds.
These tickets were free. These are wrestling fans. There's probably a lot of nerds, but I don't think it's exclusively wrestling nerds.
No, because these sold out so quick, it was, you needed to be on there. So you needed to be on the mailing list to know when things are available and be at the ready. At least that's what I've seen from the old Reddit posts that I looked at.
Which is more research than I've ever done for this podcast. Yeah, so I will defer to you.
See, I am the nerd and you're the cash.
Yeah, baby. All right.
Or I'm just more chronically online than you.
Well, that's because I'm too busy chronically at the bar with a masked woman as she enters, narrating and remembering a whole video package. She's been called many things. She is cold-blooded, sinful, evil, sexy, venomous. Truth is, she's all these things. And together, they make her Cobra fucking Moon, baby. She's kicking ass in a snakeskin jacket while eyeing a set of precious metal somethings. I don't know what that is, but she's coming next week. I'm very excited. Cobra Moon in the future will be known as Thunder Rosa in NWA and AEW. She's been out on injury forever. I think she's on the Spanish announce team. Right now, she's so good. She's very cool. Cobra Moon. I'm very excited to see Cobra Moon.
Hell yeah. I do have an issue. Wait, actually, hey, real quick. Do you know what, we've talked about him before. What was his name? Big Dick Rick? What's his name? The dude?
It's Big Dick Johnson.
Big Dick Johnson.
The guy who jerks off the kendo stick of Sandman. And I found it's the best GIF, and it's so hard to find.
Well, during this time, what do you know what he was up to?
Hopefully jerking off more kendo sticks across the indie scene.
No, he was the head writer of Lucha Underground.
Yes!
See, this is the shit. Why doesn't Sean know this stuff? Why am I bringing this to the table? I'm pretty sure head writer or just a writer for Lucha Underground in my research.
God, Big Dick Johnson might be the most important wrestling figure we've ever come across. That's such a fucking cool career. Hey, what are the two things what are the two things you've done in your career? List two things you've done in your career. Was responsible for the GIF that WWE refuses to allow surface, where I jerked off the Sandman's kendo stick. Also, I was head writer for, again, such an important wrestling show. Like, this show is so good. Perfect. Big Dick Johnson, salutes to you. Shouts out to, you know what? I don't often shout out people I have not jerked off to, and this will be no different. Shout out to Big Dick Johnson. This is a fucking guy.
He was a writer on Lucha Underground.
Hell yes.
Christopher DeJoseph.
That hell the fuck yes.
And this is a quick criticism. When you have someone named Sexy Star who is just in a promotional package the previous match, you can't give a woman like, hey, I've been called a lot of things, and include sexy. If they had also said, and I've been known as a star, that's just rude. You can't do that, okay, guys?
Rude. It did. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because it did. Even her delivery of that line felt a little odd. Like, everything else about the package was fine, but it almost felt like you could hear her fighting in the recording booth. Like, do we really need this one? Like, everything else, because I think based on what I saw, it looked like she might be a jewel thief.
Oh, yeah. You could.
Maybe.
I would rather say elegant. If you are a jewel thief, elegant, cunning, all these things. Like what Catwoman would do to describe herself, use those. Catwoman would never say sexy, at least in she would say, I'm a fucking champ. I'm a, no, Or you want to know how the Pink Panther guy would describe himself?
Hamburger?
I don't know.
Hamburger. You ever seen Pink Panther with Steve Martin? Oh, dude, it's the perfect movie.
I had a friend who was a huge fan of the originals, and he, for his birthday, I've had this experience, we've talked about it before, of showing friends the Mystery Science Theater movie, and everyone being nonplussed about it and me being jazzed. Boy, oh boy, was a group of boys, besides the birthday boy, I guess the most important, nonplussed with the pink. Actually, no, I think the other person I was with loved it. I was like, I don't get it, guys. Just show me the cartoon Pink Panther.
The original or the Steve Martin one?
The original.
I remember seeing it at pretty young, very young, and loving it immediately.
And masturbating to it constantly.
Well, I was masturbating to everything at that time.
Shouts out to Pink Panther. I love that
Shouts
pink
out to
pussy.
Peter, okay, well, yep, there it is. But look, I really did, like, that was a very, I don't know what it was. The original Pink Panthers are are much drier than the Steve Martin, but it also is, I think his physical comedy goes way cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, Steve Martin's great. He's not doing physical comedy shtick the way, like, Peter Sellers, like, when he vaults, he's doing, like, the parallel bars sort of, like, routine, and he looks great, and then he vaults himself off of the staircase down a flight of stairs, and it's so fucking goofy. Or, like, the Chief is so comically, ooh, gadget. Like, it's very, I don't know. It's fair if it didn't hit you as a youth. I don't know. I feel like it says more about me as a weird comedy kid who was like, yeah, I love this movie from the 70s. What do you mean all the kids are playing basketball and getting ready to talk to girls and stuff? Like, I have Pink Panther on VHS. Why would I ever need to go outside?
As I was one of the weird comedy nerds who was saying, yeah, during the summer, I stayed up till 2 a.m. to watch a public access show called Captain Jolt Soda.
But those are two, what the fuck is Captain Jolt Soda?
It was a public access show that was all kind of like practical miniatures that they just kind of like moved around and were like, hey guys, what's going on? It was wild. Most of it's on YouTube. Most of it kind of doesn't hold up, but it was just two dudes making a show at public access in, I think, Saginaw.
I feel like those are two very, I think that. I don't know if that's the difference in our comedy nerddom because we appreciate both, but it is, yeah, we're just like, no, I'm watching like love these old school, old man, boomer ass comedy. Like you could, if you told that child someday you're going to get really into Warren Zevon, no one would be surprised the way I'm watching these boomer ass comedies. Meanwhile, you're over here plumbing the depths of public access for Captain Jolt and his just absolute oddities. I love us, James.
It's probably because it felt a lot like Mystery Science Theater to us, and my brother, sister, and I love that show.
Hey, yo, shouts out to Mystery Science Theater. I'll jerk off to you after this podcast. I need to stop shouting out people I'm jerking off to.
Oh, you put a lot of O's in crow, am I right, baby?
Oh, you know it. Just like they put a lot of...
Yeah, just like they put a lot of product on luchaunderground.com where you can right now get t-shirts, caps, and more. And you better believe the more are gravy glasses, freshly hosed duffel bags, Drago masks, and plated moths. But the plated moths sell out instantly because they are very well plated moths, and just the plated moth community really love that. I don't know if that's the terminology for putting a moth in a like shadow box.
Yeah, I don't know why you also had to slip in a very real Drago mask. Like, that's just a good product.
Yeah. I would hope they would have that. That's why I put that in.
By the way, if you're ever listening to this podcast, buy me a hat. I want a Lucha Underground hat so bad.
And send it to our P.O. box. It's in the description. Just email me and let me know that it was sent.
Really, any trucker hat? I'm starting to get into that side. I'm in my boomer rock phase. I wear trucker hats, and I'm really into the Pink Panther movies.
Oh man, you love Ashton Kutcher and Punk'd.
Well, that's not a good celebrity to reference today.
We got a 3-on-2 match, Sean, and they only need one, okay?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the Disciples of Death with Katrina versus Prince Puma and Pentagón Jr. While Mill is also excited, you can see him slightly sit forward on his throne surrounded by skulls. Even before the match starts, Puma's staring down Mill. Vampiro is suffering a PTSD flashback describing Penta as he enters, but Penta has found a light in his dark path. Matt, why would you ask me about that? Doctor's orders are that I cannot talk about Pentagón Jr. Matt, I'm not trying to start a cult. Get that Kool-Aid away from me.
Yeah, everyone was saying, oh, Prince Puma's alone now because Conan's not here. And Vampiro says, nah, man, he's not alone. He's got somebody with him who's been schooled.
Yeah, Pentagón Jr., baby. It is really nice to see Vampiro defending Pentagón Jr. Because Vampiro loves the heels. He loves the bad guys. Mm-hmm. And Pentagón Jr., not really. It's so cool to see this tweener play out. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just my childhood memory of wrestling. I feel like there is some like struggle with commentators calling for tweeners, which are in between babyface and heels. Like these sort of anti-hero characters. Deadpool, we mentioned earlier, would be a great example of a tweener. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why, maybe this just stands out to me so well, a Vampiro being like, he's not a good guy, but he's not bad anymore. We promise. It's new and improved Pentagón Jr. in store shelves today, right next to the Drago masks.
We've talked about this Vampiro documentary before, and I think that documentary, you see him discussing and talking to other wrestlers backstage, specifically Pentagón we see, I believe, and Johnny Mundo, and he is so compassionate and nice and just a genuine human being to these two people. Obviously, like, hey, Mundo, you and I were of the same ilk. I'm so glad you're here. You came out for this AAA Mania shit. And then to Penta, he's like, hey, man, it feels like a uncle-nephew relationship of I just want you to be the next big thing. And I think that has painted my view of Vampiro now in Lucha Underground so much better than when we initially started this of, hey, he's just a crazy person, like just a wacky little guy. But no, he's someone who loves this sport so fucking much, and he loves the people in it.
Absolutely. And it comes out, I think, because we were sort of coming around to their commentary even before we saw that documentary.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, and it was one of those things we can't really put our finger on it, but like looking back on it now, it's because they both like love it so much. And you can see that it's so easy. You can see when someone wants to do something and is excited about doing something. Going back to the one word in that Cobra Moon promo of sexy, you can and you could hear it being kind of like, why this word? We can find something else. Like, I'm a firm believer you can always tell when someone's having a good time and someone is impassioned, excited to do something, and it reads. It always reads. It's whatever you're doing. If you are ever in any form of performance or public speaking and you don't care, we don't care. And Vampiro, compassionate is a great word for it, because he does. He cares. They both do. They care so much. And it's one of the things, again, it's just one of those things that makes this show feel so special. I think one of the hard things for me to describe as someone who doesn't actively watch a lot of WWE in my wrestling right now, and there's great stuff happening for WWE. And if WWE, you are watching it and you're enjoying it, or that's what got you into wrestling, that's awesome, because that's what matters. But there is a different feeling, and there always will be, when it's this large established company versus a challenger or an up and coming. And one of those differences is that you need that sort of passion and excitement and compassion for each other because it's an uphill battle. Like, you need that part of it. Any sort of like large company side of things can be a little cold, can become a little mechanical, and that's not here at all. And it's just so good. It's so good to watch.
I like describing it instead of an uphill battle, an upwell battle, kind of like Sadako.
That's how did you get how? I don't...
Because she's having to crawl herself up out of adversity because her father struck her in the head and locked her in a well because she was getting too psychotic or psychologically powerful?
I don't know.
Sean, I will keep referencing this fucking movie until you watch it, and guess what? You'll be the one referencing it.
I got 2 weeks, or not even, like a week until Halloween.
No, it's an everyday. Nicole and I think we probably watched it in March and then watched the other two shortly after.
Yeah, but you two are freaks.
Yeah, we're little freakers. All right, Sean.
Yeah.
I have one thing before the match even goes, then one thing on the match. First, I think I wish the disciples had more personality. I wish they could talk, or I wish Katrina would talk for specifically each one, because I don't know who is who. They don't have such a wildly different look. They're all skulls. They all now have different color skull masks, but who knows? They're just a single entity, and maybe that's what they want it to be. But
I was going to say, I think that is the point. I think that, but it is, I do think, an improvement, to be critical, because I'm going to be critical for a second, a vast improvement from the goons of last season. Last season's goons were the crew. There were a couple moments that were really scary in some of those matches, of like a trio that's like that work best in tandem and will work together for the benefit of their benefactor. There were some really scary moments in those matches. I won't dig too deep, but just like some, is everyone okay? These guys looked so clean. They're so good. Even under their masks, they're cohesive as a single unit, and they're just doing great shit. They jumped the unlikely duo up top as they were trying to still feel each other out. However, Penta and Puma try and take back momentum, tope canillo, and dive off the top ropes to the outside. However, whenever Katrina raises that mystical stone of hers, that magic rock, the Disciples of Death stop going for the win and opt for more violence, which is a really nice little detail of, hey, this isn't about winning a match, it's about hurting our competitors. And I love stories when the two forces have different goals that sort of intersect each other in weird ways. Penta and Puma want to win. They want wins in their columns so that they can challenge for the title as a ranking system would go. The Disciples of Death don't care. They just want to hurt these two. It is a lot of Disciples of Death just kind of bullying Puma for a long time. Double team backbreaker, kick to the ass, reverse suplex. Eventually, Puma has to dig deep, neckbreaker DDT combo, fight back, tags in Penta, who is a house of fire. Everyone's eating the overhand chops. Slap, overhand chop, slap, overhand chop, slap. Katrina gives a nervous side eyes like a Scooby-Doo painting, which only happened in the background, but it was like, That was some great nervous painting work by Katrina there. Eventually, Puma kind of makes a save, but they start bumping into each other. They're tagging in, they're powerful, but they're not on the same page. They're bumping into each other. They're giving each other mean eyes. Toward the end of the match, Puma Fire Thunder Driver into a 630 splash, but while Puma was on the top rope, Penta makes a blind tag, and after the 630, rushes in and takes the pinfall for himself. Penta and Puma win at 7 minutes and 33 seconds. And after the match, these egos are still jaw-jacking.
No!
Until they ain't. Penta hits the lug blower, puts Puma in the sacrifice arm bar, but Puma arm drags his way out. The first man to escape the sacrifice. Penta ducks a spinning roundhouse kick, escapes, and they are staring at each other as we fade into a new scene. A hoodie man behind a candle and a mysterious voice speaking to him.
It's not that mysterious. I mean, it actually is mysterious.
Hey, you said you had one more note. I wanted to make sure I didn't skip it.
Yes. First, Vampiro about something said, "For once, I was right." I don't remember what it was.
It was about the Rock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Vampiro. Shout out to Vampiro for making that call.
Coming to Vampiro.
I didn't even.
Every time you say "shouts out," that's the bit for this season.
That's the subtext, huh?
And then Vampiro saying, "Why would you kick a guy in his ass? I don't get it." And when Pentagón just takes off his glove and just starts smacking people, that could have been played up even funnier, but it was very good.
Wait till you see Pentagón in the year of our Lord 2023. The glove bit has, much like Swerve or the comic book artist again, what was his name?
Geoff Darrow.
Much like Geoff Darrow or Swerve, the glove bit only grows with age, and we love to see it. After this match, there's, Hoodie Man behind a candle, mysterious voice, in the most literal sense, is speaking to him. That mask has been passed down for centuries. Many warriors have worn it and taken its power. Are you ready for that power? Because Dragon Azteca was my mentor too. I was supposed to take that mask, but I had another path. Now is the time for you to walk yours. As for me, the mask I chose seemed to work out, pretty well. After all, he is Rey Goddamn Mysterio.
The father of my mother's arch enemy.
Hell yes. Dominic the Christmas Donkey Mysterio. It is so cool. There needs to be an actual documentary, not filmed by the WWE, of Rey in these couple years just doing everything that he possibly could outside of WWE. I don't know exactly why he didn't sign this contract, why he was at AEW's before it was AEW, when it was just All In, before the company actually got formed and they just did a pay-per-view and he's in the main event. It's so wild and so weird to see Rey Mysterio not in WWE at this time. But I'm not saying PJ Black wasn't a great pickup. But Rey Mysterio, that's a needle mover, you know? That's a ratings draw. I'm very excited to see more Rey in the upcoming weeks. And I'm very excited to sign off on this episode with you, James, and to talk about all the things we could plug. For instance, a Twitch channel called twitch.tv/GooseVonKaiser, where you could watch, maybe a guy like me play something Dark Souls 3 right now. But that's a great game. I don't know why I undersold it. Yeah, come on, check it out. Twitch.tv/GooseVonKaiser, baby.
Hey guys, head over to twitch.tv/mostly speaking Sentai when I have time. I think I'm going to start doing all the Ratchet and Clank games.
Hell yeah. Those games are good. Because
I needed a game that I will have fun just sitting down and playing endlessly, no matter what, just picking up. If I have an hour, I can just go grind for some bolts so I can level up guns. It's fun to do. But
hell yeah.
Check that out. Then head over to MLMpod.com just MLMpod.com to find out information about my other free feed podcasts like Mostly Speaking Sentai, Formulaic, Sweet Child of Time, etc. And listen to Death to Squids on this same podcast feed with Jose and I. Listen to my music under Marshland Monster. New singles every single month this year, even some EPs. And Patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month you get exclusive content every single Friday. This Friday, engaged with Nicolas Cage doing Bangkok Dangerous. Yay, yay. And if you're a $10 patron, you get exclusive content monthly on top of the weekly stuff. This month is straight to Patreon, Hack-O-Lantern, a slasher movie from the 80s. I believe my new boss, Z, will be on that episode with us, aka Nicole's former boss. And you get shout-outs on every single free feed podcast with those $10 patrons. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F. We Don't Have Time, Eric Meredith, Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, Jordan B, The Chaos Witch, my Bickle brother in common law, I think was just a best man at a wedding, Joshua Jacobs, I think I said Joshua Jacobs, Steve Barnes, A Sweet Child of Time, and Intro Void, James's mom, what? No, that's me's mom's. You know, she hates Dominic, Mysterio. Lucor's BFF and former roommate Shane. That fed twitch.tv/core-winning. It's Corwin. And from the Rom Complex and Formulaic, a podcast and script writing, twitch.tv/R2Shelby2. It's R2Shelby2. And I've been James.
I've been Sean, and this has been Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling.
Ooh, I like that roll of the R.
I'm gonna shouts out to that noise. We'll see you next week. Bye.
No, he's jacking off to my voice. Bye. Oh, yeah.